Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, depending on where you are getting me from.
So now, when it comes to determining the hosting capacity, there is actually a planning risk that is associated. So in this case, what the DSO or distribution system operator is saying is that solar PV on the customers in the distribution network can actually be installed at the worst conceivable locations. So what we are saying is that the planning risk will actually acknowledge that with the penetration of solar PV, limited over voltage can actually occur at these conceivable locations. So when we come to look at the inclusion of the aleatory and epistemic uncertainties, with the aleatory uncertainties being able to be represented with a probability distribution function. A combination of this and considering the risk that overvoltage can actually occur give rise to what is known as the epistemic PDF. So the epistemic PDF actually encompasses the risk associated with the two types of uncertainties. So these two uncertainties are combined into a decision illustration, which actually gives a planning risk. So this planning risk is a percentile in form of a percentile, which is a 90th percentile or a 10% planning margin. So if we go further, this is the illustration of the epistemic PDF. With this PDF, we see that there is a probability that the overvoltage will occur with the combination of the two uncertainties. So we actually have got S1, S2, S3, and S4 when we look at the expected voltages in future or the component highest loadability. So this actually gives us a situation where we have this epistemic PDF, which is the distribution of a lot of numbers. So this is not one value, but a distribution of a lot of values. So the DSO must actually pick one value for the planning aspect. So when this value is picked, DSO must go with, for example, S1, S2, S3, or S4. Each planning level has got a different risk and investment needed. And also, each planning level must also ensure that there's reliable supply in the midst of aleatory and epistemic uncertainties. And also, the DSO should guarantee reliable supply of power inclusive of future scenarios. So, as earlier alluded, this planning risk will acknowledge that if a certain percentile, a certain planning margin is taken, there could be overvoltages. So it takes a risk. And this risk will always translate into the investment that is needed when there is an increase in the penetration of solar power in the distribution network. So the stochastic hosting capacity includes the planning risk associated with the PV integration.